Welcome to Life Her Podcast, the podcast that guides you from the 9-to-5 grind to the freedom of your own path. Discover how to conquer life's challenges while pursuing your passions with unwavering faith. Because being an entrepreneur is not easy. So let's get to it.
Hey everyone, I am Yvette Lloyd, host of Life Her Podcast. I have an amazing guest with us tonight, Denia Eaton. She is an amazing woman. She is a visionary leader, skill connector, and powerhouse in networking and business development, and also leadership mentoring. Denia is passionate about empowering individuals, businesses thrive, and her ability to bridge gaps, create meaningful relationships has her and her catalyst for her success. She's been recognized in many publications and including Who's Who in America, and currently is running for Forbes magazine's Entrepreneur Influence. So y'all know she is the bomb.
You make me sound so important.
So in this episode, we'll dive into her journey and power and authentic connections and how she helps others turn their vision into reality. And get ready for an insightful podcast show welcoming Denia.
Woo, 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 woo.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, man. I'm amazing. How are you?
I'm doing good, girl. Just maintain it.
That's good.
So first and foremost, can you share a little bit about your journey, what inspired you to become a leader in networking, relationships, and building business development?
Oh, man. Frustration. So I've always been an outgoing person. I've been helping like friends and family with their business for years. But being in a workforce and showing up products after products and just having my boss is like, we don't want that. No, we don't want that. And I think they say, when the Lord wants you to move, he makes you uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I was real uncomfortable. So one of my staff members, she's like, you should start your own business. People will pay you to do this. I was like, really? She's like, yeah. So I said a prayer, went to sleep, and woke up the next morning with the name of the business, the concept, and all of that stuff. I was like, okay. And then I straddled my feet. Then I got to the point where I was crying like every day, like, Lord, this cannot be life. I need to be free. I need to be free. And I got approved for the startup capital, and I didn't look back.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
No, for real, because, sometimes people sit on their dreams or sit on something that they're really good at. And the fact that you just did it like that, prayed for it, and you actually heard God, speaking to you and directing you, and you end up letting him lead you to where you needed to be. That is like really powerful. And a lot of times people just still be in that stuck space.
Mm-hmm.
What advice do you have for someone that just be stuck in a gift that they have and not actually executing it?
Oh, man. My advice is, how painful is it for you? Right? It can't be that painful if you're not doing anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, my pain was more than my fear.
Mm.
And so I had to move. And my advice will be, do it afraid. What's the worst that can happen? If you feel like God is leading you to it, then do it afraid.
Yeah. Doing it afraid is so crazy because, that other side of fear is success.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people really don't realize that. And so they never actually discover it, or they never actually know the feeling of it or nothing until they actually cross that path and they really understand, like, man, I should have been here a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah. But the fear never goes away like that. So to me, I feel like it's levels to the fear, right? So the first fear is like, okay, branching out and, okay, I have something, but I'm talking to the wrong people because they're telling me that I shouldn't do it. Or, everybody else is doing it. So, how are you going to do it different? You have all these naysayers, right? Once you get over that hump of fear, there's a whole nother set of fear. Like for Entrepreneur Impact, I was afraid to do that. And then I got out there and I started posting videos and, and people were voting and I was like, oh, you love me, but it was just, but every time, right? There's a level of fear no matter what stage you're in. So
That's
just
true.
just do it already.
Yes, for real.
Yeah.
So, what is the defining moment of your career that shaped your passion in connecting and empowering others?
Oh man. I would say it's a couple of things. I was still straddling the fence, right, about what I should do. So I reached out to one of my mentors and I'm like, hey, are you doing another mastermind class? And he's like, for what? You already know what to do. He was like, just come in the office and let's talk. So I came in, we talked, and he was like, well, I can help you with your business plan. I can help you get startup capital. And I'm like, okay, oh, I'm going to throw up. All right, hold on. So I went through the phases, right? And so they applied for my LLC for me. It was included in a package that I paid for, but I didn't know. And so the young lady that filed, she filed it on my grandmother's birthday.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, that's confirmation, number one. And then I went to open up my business checking account, and I have 6 sevens in my business checking account. I was like, okay. And then the last digit in my tax ID is 7. So that was 7 sevens, right? And 7 is the number of completion. So I felt like I was like, okay, how many times do I have to tell you it's done, it's done, it's done, it's done? I was like, oh, okay. So in the midst of it, I still wasn't seeing it. And it was just little things that just kept coming to fruition and confirmation. And I was just like, wow. Even sometimes now I sit back and I'm like, for my analyst, I have an intern who's an analyst, and I wanted him to analyze the company. And I was writing down all of the businesses that I had communicated with. I wanted him to give me my statistics. And I was like, wow, I have touched over 51 businesses just in the 2.5 years that I've been in business. And I didn't even realize the number was that large. For some people, that might not seem like a lot, but 51 is a lot of businesses to touch, whether we actually signed a contract or not. At some point, I had them one-on-one. And I was just like, wow. So I'm still like, I'm still having defining moments.
Man.
I guess, yeah.
That is good, though. I notice your awareness.
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot of awareness. You have a lot of ways. And that's like literally a gift for you to actually notice your surroundings and notice what's going on. And a lot of people don't realize that creates you to be even more successful, to know your pathway. So I admire that a lot.
Oh, I see. And I thought it was because I was raised by a dope boy. That's what I was taught. In the hood, you always back into your parking spot. Them 5 seconds between reverse and drive to get you caught up.
Let's put it like this. It helps.
I'm teasing. But
it helps on the other side.
I mean, it goes both ways. But that and being in the military, when you come in, you assess all your exits.
Mm-hmm.
You never sit with your back against the door. All of those things. So it's a lot. I mean, I will accept the gifting portion of it, but some of it I will say was taught. I have to, have to own
life.
that too.
That's life. So you've been recognized in several prestigious like honors and different things like that. As such as Forbes magazine, Entrepreneurship Influence. How do these achievements really impact your work?
What? It's that silent pat on the back, right? Because people see you and they talk to you and they're like, oh, hey, but on those insecure nights, right? When things don't work out, or when I shot for a deadline and I missed it, or I wanted a contract and it didn't come through. Those are the small things that are like, you're still in the game. You still got it. Like, it's okay. And it seems like every time I hit that point of insecurity in the business, something else pops up. And I'm just like, okay, I'm still in it.
That's good.
Yeah.
So what do you believe is key building authentic and meaningful connections in both business and life?
Oh, authentic vulnerability. I believe that's the key. Because vulnerability is something that we never want to show.
Yes.
Right? We never want to give that. But if you're authentic with it, right? Not phony, not, oh my God, just love my everything. But seriously, like, okay, this is what I need from you, or this is who I am, and just walk in that.
Yeah.
I think people, they're either going to accept it or they're not. And if they're not, it's okay, because they probably never would have, whether you showed, or had you shown the fake side and they accepted that, then what?
You gotta keep it going.
Yep.
And it's hard.
Stressful.
It's gonna be very hard for you to do.
Yes.
Yes. And I like that, because a lot of people don't notice, like, you got to always be yourself, because that's your breadwinner right there.
Yeah.
It is. And people just gonna like be in love with you regardless.
Yeah. And there's only one you.
Yeah.
I took this class called Strength Finders, and you take this test and it gives you your top 5 strengths. And even the statistics in the book, the author said no 2 people have the same 5 strengths in the exact same order. So we were all crafted to be different.
Yeah.
And it's a generalized test, and no 2 people have the same in the exact same order. So just be who you are, because the world needs your authentic self, not a carbon copy of someone else.
That is true. That is super true. So many people struggle with networking because they feel that it's transactional. How can you basically like shift their mindset to make the network more genuine and impactful?
Oh, wow. For starters, you have to be as comfortable in your dress as you can. A lot of times when people go to networking events, they want to give a certain appearance that's not authentically them. So then they're uncomfortable, and it comes across in a dialogue. I'll cut jokes. I've come with people, and then I've also come by myself. But I always make sure that I'm presented as my confident self and not my insecure self. And so then in that, I lead with questions. That breaks the ice. If I'm asking someone else questions and they're talking to me, then the focus is not on me. Then I can figure out how to solve the problem, and then we go from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, or you could start with the compliment. Find something about a person that you could compliment them on, just to open up the conversation, to make it genuine.
Have you like personally struggled with that yourself even before you actually became who you are today?
Yeah. So I first learned about networking because I sell Mary Kay.
Okay.
And so in the trainings, one of the things that they gave us, I never forget, we were in class and she said, okay, we're going to the mall. Sweet, shopping. She's like, all right, here's a list. I'm like, huh? She said, here's the list. And it was a list. We had to go on a scavenger hunt. We had to find someone with a nice purse, someone with red shoes, and at the bottom, it said your goal is to get 100 no's. Wow. So she subliminally tricked us into looking, because what we did was we went for people that we automatically knew would say no. And we started getting yeses. And it was like, oh my God, and so just that, and that kicked it off. If, I'm like, okay, who do I know will probably say no to me? And it gave me the courage to approach him, because I was already expecting him to say no. And then it just changed. And then I started learning the verbiage and I was like, wow,
man,
you got me.
Yeah, that's powerful though. I've never heard of anything like that. I might need to try it myself.
But that's what it was. The goal was to get 100 no's, and none of us met the goal. And majority of us had our list filled out.
Dang, that is amazing.
Yeah.
That's dope. So leadership is about more than just having a title. And what are the essentials and qualities of great leader in today's world?
Ooh, great leader in today's world. Number one is honesty.
Yes.
Right? You need to be truthful from start to finish. If you don't know, just because you're the leader, it's okay. Find somebody in your team that does know and let them shine in their lane. I think humbleness is another one, because you can't be so far gone that you're not approachable to your team. And I heard someone say a good leader is a leader that's trained a leader that's trained a leader. So that means that everything that you've taught that person, they're actually able to repeat and train another leader. So I think self-reflection.
Yeah.
I'm in the process of publishing a book called The Mirror Management Effect. And it deals solely with the mirror, like looking at yourself as an individual first before you go out to deal with others.
You know, it's so crazy. I done did many interviews with different leaders, but a lot of people don't understand the leader needs a leader too.
Yes.
And you mentioned about mastermind classes, and those masterminds is they're so helpful.
Yeah.
And having a mentor yourself as a leader that is doing, you know, greater than you, not knowing they have a mentor too.
Right.
So it's like different angles and different characteristics of different leaders that you can have leading you in a direction. Do you find yourself having a different leader that to help you excel in your personal life?
I do. I have a mentor in my personal and a mentor in my professional life.
That's
And
good.
my professional mentor, shout out to Shay Cannon. She calls me out on my stuff. She doesn't allow me to sit in fear long. But she encourages me as well. You know, she's a great supporter and a cheerleader for me. And she makes herself available and she's honest. So she said, you know, well, let me get back to you on that because if she doesn't know, she'll say it.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. So with a business evolving and business landscaping and strategies to do recommend as far as like companies and entrepreneurs looking to grow or staying competitive. So should they actually do both or just the one?
Well, I think it depends on which genre of like business you're in. Like if you're in a restaurant business, then your goal is to stay competitive. You don't necessarily have to grow and have multiple restaurants, right?
Yeah.
You just want to stay in the game. But if you're doing like stocks or if you're a lawyer or some of those appearing to be oversaturated, markets, then the goal would be to grow.
Yeah.
And, but I just always, my rule of thumb is just stick with your core values. Every time you incorporate something new, go back to your core values and make sure that everything still aligns and do that each time. And I think that'll help you grow better.
Tremendously.
Yeah.
It definitely will. So what are some of the key mistakes business owners make when trying to scale and how can they avoid them?
Ooh, child. The first mistake business owners make is expecting friends and family to be their biggest supporter.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's the number one mistake because strangers see your worth before your family does.
They sure do.
Secondly, and I was a product of this too, charging based on your insecurity and not the transformation.
Oh, that's a good one.
Ouch. That hurts.
Yeah.
I was that person, right?
I am that person.
Right. And so, so with that, we shoot ourselves in the foot.
I know.
Right? Trying to work with everybody. And that's not always the case, right? So we have to figure out who our target audience is and we have to stick to it. We can't deviate. I think another mistake they make is trying to do all the things, right? It's like, oh, well, this is a hit and this is a hit. And like I see people that have like 5 different businesses. I need you to pick one and master that first.
Yes.
Then move on to something else. Because, people don't know what they're going to get. You cannot hit all the markets.
No.
You can't. Not starting out.
Nah. And it's you can have a business, but you can have a business on top of that business that's connected to what you're doing. Like if you have a restaurant, you could sell seasoning.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can mentor other people that want to start a restaurant.
Right.
You know, down the line, you can't go from wanting a restaurant to wanting a laundromat to wanting a club to wanting.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
You know, you just bouncing everywhere, but a lot of people don't understand. Like, you have to, you know, keep it in the same area so that you
Mm-hmm.
can have, that's what you call different streams of income
Yeah.
in the beginning phases. But once you master those and you're not actually stuck in that way, and it works for you even when
Yeah.
you're asleep,
Mm-hmm.
then maybe you can branch off and own something totally different.
Right.
But you got something with that too. So you
Right.
just got to have it all the way together.
Yes, yes. Like, I mean, no offense. You have the people who sell dinners. They sell dinners and now they want to cater, but because they
Yeah.
cater, and now they want to decorate and do the whole event planning, and then they want to
Yeah.
go from that to bartending, and they want to go from that. Like,
Yeah.
stop. The dinners and catering, I get it, but you have to understand, selling dinners is in small portions. Catering
Mhm.
is a whole nother ballgame. Just because you know
Yes.
how to cook does not mean that you can cater.
Yeah. That is the truth. That is so true.
Yeah.
So what's next for you, and are you expecting like any projects, collaborations, goals? Are you working on anything in 2025?
I am. Oh man, 2025. I'm going for the gold. So, like I said, my book, The Mirror Management Effect, actually it's a management training course. So you can either purchase the book or you can take the class. As for people who are either newly promoted, aspiring to be a manager, they might not necessarily be hitting the mark currently as a manager. Business owners who are looking to hire managers should take the class. And so my goal is to start like a university of sorts,
That'd be nice.
and just covering, all things employee. So
Mhm.
conflict resolution, how to show an excellence for your job, even when you hate it.
Yeah.
And then my other book that I'm working on are for couples in business.
Mm.
How do you have a successful business and a successful relationship at the same time? So, little rules like the bedroom is off limits for business talk.
Yeah.
Schedule meetings with each other. If you have to have something, you do it at the dining room table. Never bring business to the bedroom, right? And you guys have to agree to that and stick to that,
Yeah.
and pick it back up when you walk out the door. But,
Mhm.
your bedroom needs to be your sanctuary.
Yes.
And I want to branch that into a retreat for couples to bring the bonding back or to strengthen the bond that they have so that the relationship doesn't suffer because of the business.
Mhm.
So I got a lot of irons in the fire.
That is good. So one of the things, as far as being a business owner, someone being a small business owner, what is advice that you could give them so that they could keep their employees satisfied?
Mm, okay. I would say be genuine first, right? If you don't know, say you don't know because your staff can see right through it,
Yeah.
right? They show up for you when they know the vision. So don't be afraid to tell them what the vision is and a dream and make them a part of it. Don't just, tell them, well, this is what I'm doing. This is what um, do not take your personal life out on your team, right? Because life happens. And 9 times out of 10, when you're a small business, the people that come to work for you, they believe in you,
Mm-hmm.
So remember that when you're dealing with them, when you're talking with them, when things don't necessarily go right, be honest and confide in them, not telling like all your trade secrets, but empowering them to show up in excellence for you. A lot of times small business owners are so afraid that if I give you my secret sauce, you're going to take it and leave. But what God has for you is for you.
Yeah. I feel like it's kind of dangerous too,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. Um, I've personally had people that were in my personal life and ran my business. I feel like if they know too much, they will use it against you.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, as far as you just keeping your business going, it will come off genuine at first, but somewhere down the line, I feel like it'll turn into something totally different. So I like to keep like boundaries there when it comes to that. I prefer to not actually know my staff personally to a certain extent. I like to keep it like really separate so that they won't know too much, because sometimes people analyze everything that you're doing and they end up creating it as an issue or a problem, and it'll go like too far.
Now that is true. From a personal standpoint, I could definitely agree having boundaries is definitely necessary. Um I'm speaking more so from a standpoint of, so like say I had a vendor that I was ordering a lot of things from, and I'm having issues with that vendor, and I'm looking at the finances and I'm really trying to figure out, what would be a better route, bringing a team on board to help you research. Because a lot of times when you're the small business owner, you're still trying to do all the things.
Yeah.
And delegation. But I feel like, and this is something that I help business owners specialize in, is hiring right the first time.
Yeah.
So I feel like you need to know if you need to hire a thinker or if you need to hire a doer.
That's true.
And then you need to understand, if you need a doer, your doer is only going to do exactly what you tell them to do.
That's
They
true.
are not going to think for anything else. They're not going to add anything else to it. They're just going to do exactly that. So be prepared for that. And then your thinkers are not going to do exactly what you tell them to do, because they're going to think about other things, And then when you're interviewing someone, asking the proper questions. So I like to talk to businesses about like their core values and make sure that their interview questions align with that. So if you have a high stress level position, you need to know what their self-care looks like, right? Just because their resume looks good on paper, if their self-care is terrible, they won't last long.
No, they won't.
So it's those kind of things. It's the types of questions that you formulate in an interview, I think will kind of help curve some of that to where you can confide in them about certain things. Not all the things. That's what your mentor is for.
Yeah.
But, leaving your team in the dark, they can't show up in excellence for you if they're left in the dark.
Yeah, that's true. So how can someone as a business owner maintain their overhead? Because a lot of times we can have, you have business coming in, everything is going great. However, you got one staff member and then two more will come. I want a raise. If I don't get a raise, I want to branch off and get another job that is able to pay me more. But you know that your overhead doesn't really cover to what they exactly want. How can a business owner deal with that, and what should they do to pivot?
So I think, for one, when you hire your team and you're specific with them, right, about what their original position is, you have to be mindful of the timing, right? So if they're coming up on a year, then at the 9-month mark, you should be trying to figure out whether or not you can give them a raise, or if you have to have that conversation. Like, don't let them come to you first. If it's a timeline thing, if it's just that particular person, sometimes you just have to tell them thank you for their time. And, unfortunately,
What they good?
Well, so here's the thing. I cannot allow you to put more stress and pressure on me. Can you help me bring more revenue in so that you can get your raise?
That's
Right?
true.
Do you have any marketing ideas to help me make more money? Help me help you. Right? So if it's a restaurant, do you have a theme, a night theme? Are you willing to go out and market and pass out flyers and network with people and things like that? Let's cut a deal. If we can raise the revenue in 30 days, then you can get a raise. So show me what you're working with.
I like that.
Yeah. I mean, because then that way they earn, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because some
seriously.
people want compensation as an entitlement, but not because of their work ethic.
That is true. That is so true. And they be wanting it bad because you actually they haven't really actually been doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
You still been analyzing them and seeing that they really not progressing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like people just be wanting. But what are you giving me in this position? You still have the position. Technically, you could get fired tomorrow,
Right.
because of your low performance in the job. So I feel that.
I'm a
I
big
like that.
proponent of doing evaluations.
That's good. So how often should they do evaluations?
So I'm a 90-day person. So at
Okay.
the 60 days, I give them a blank evaluation so that they know what my expectations are.
Gotcha.
So then rate yourself where you feel like you are. So now you have 30 days to make some adjustments based on what I've given you. Then at the 90-day mark, we'll sit down and we'll talk. If I don't like your numbers, then we'll discuss what needs to be done. We'll reevaluate again in 30 days. And after that, does a shift in position need to happen or what needs to work? And then I'll do the same thing at the 9-month mark.
Okay.
You've been with me for 9 months. Relook at this evaluation because you're getting evaluated at your 1-year mark. So now you have 90 days to step your game up. Did you get complacent or have you been killing it this whole time?
That's true. So if someone was to hire you tomorrow to come in and review their business and help them scale more, help their staff, and even help them as an individual, what would you present to them first?
So the first thing I would do if they have a team is I actually have a meeting with the team without the owner or any of their family members present to give them an opportunity to be vocal and to be heard without recourse. And then when I present the findings to the owner, I present it not only as percentages of statistics, 60% of your staff believes this. So then that way they can't pinpoint who it is. And then I take their feedback and formulate it into scale and growth statements to push the business owner to actually make the changes.
That is good. A lot of businesses need it small, medium, big.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You always need it. Me, unfortunately, when I did have a bigger business, I got it too late when I should have got it in the beginning.
Okay.
But what advice do you have someone that is actually not skilled or knowledgeable of individuals like yourself to actually help them scale their business? Because a lot of us are first generational business owners and we have no clue exactly what direction we're doing. We just going with the flow.
Right.
Me, I was going with the flow and I was educating myself, but I didn't know the people and the resources of individuals like yourself that could actually help me with my business. And that's also the encouragement for having Life Her podcast, because we need to know individuals like you.
Yeah. So I would say your local SCORE, they have free business coaches. A lot of people like to funnel their information through SCORE. Your local Urban League, they have the Business and Resource Center. Even the Chamber of Commerce, like you could start with those places. They have free networking events or free informationals where you can just kind of find certain people. But ultimately, I would say pray about it. I mean, I'm a believer.
Yeah.
So just asking for God to open your eyes to see, because sometimes we miss people
Yes,
that are
that's
right
true.
there just because we didn't have the conversation.
That's
So
true.
if you feel that small unction to just say hi. I never forget, I met a young lady at the grocery store just because I asked her, did she know how to make meatballs?
Wow.
And she said, yeah, and that turned into me selling Mary Kay, which turned in, just all kinds of stuff. But just something as small as that, just asking the question.
That's that transparency that you were talking
Yeah.
about. And the vulnerability of
Yeah.
actually just speaking. That's why networking is so important,
Mhm.
because you literally never know who you're talking to. Just
Right.
because a person look this way, it doesn't mean they don't have nothing to offer you.
Right.
And you won't know until you have the conversation.
Yeah, that or that RBF. Some people just don't like to be approach.
That's true.
And they're really not mean, but they don't realize that their facial expression is just, don't
me.
talk to me. You know what I mean? And
you got that natural look. That's how I am. Seriously, I don't be meaning it.
And that's why I smile at people. I just smile at them. If they smile back, then we have a conversation. If I smile and you don't respond, okay, I'll keep it pushing.
Yeah. I've been working on that because like when I walk in the room, I'm like, hey, y'all, hey, or something, because I know I have this natural look and I'll just be trying to shake it. But it's there forever. You can, it's difficult. So I know what you mean.
Yeah. I try to listen to a joke or something before I walk in the room. So I automatically walk in with the light spirit because I just got finished laughing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Love you first.
That's true. Yeah.
Love me first. I spent so much time pouring out into others and I was given from an empty cup.
Oh.
And then I woke up bruised, battered, disgusted, frustrated because my cup was dry. It was real dry. You know what I mean? Like every time I got a teardrop ounce, I was giving it out.
That's, oh God.
Yeah.
You speaking gospel.
Yeah.
Being natural givers is very difficult. And you carry a lot of hurt behind it.
Yeah.
But you keep trying.
Right.
Ain't that something?
Yeah. But I mean, I get it back in other ways. So I try not to let it, bother me too much. I have my moments sometimes, though. You're ready to fight.
Really? You're ready to tussle, okay?
Yes.
So at the end of your career, what do you want people to remember most about your contributions?
That I gave it all. I mean, I know I just got done saying it, but I still want to leave empty.
You do?
Yes. I heard someone say that the richest place in the world is the cemetery because it's full of dreams that never came to pass and ideas that never made it. So I want to, as I say, my 50th birthday, my goal is to shut down a grocery store and pay for everybody's food. I want to leave empty. I don't want to hold on to nothing. I can't take it with me.
Can't take it with you. That's deep, though.
Yeah.
Okay. So how can people contact you and utilize your services?
I can be reached on my website, www.anr3consulting.com. Email, Denia, DENIA @anr3consulting.com. Or our office number 234-205-1902.
Yes. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I enjoyed you.
Yes, I loved it. Got to tell more people to come.
Yes, I would love it.
Be seen, be heard, show up.
Yes, ma'am. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in to the Life Heard podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and also listen to the Life Heard podcast on all major platforms and on audio.
All right.